From the moment 15-year-old Valerie Bertinelli first appeared as Barbara Cooper on the hit sitcom One Day at a Time, audiences were instantly charmed by the talented young actress. Over the show's nearly decade-long run, viewers watched her transform from a wholesome teen into a confident and captivating young woman, growing up on screen and capturing hearts along the way. However, Bertinelli's real life was more soap opera than sitcom, filled with sorrow, drugs, and public scrutiny. Body image issues that plagued the two-time Golden Globe Award winner from a young age, coupled with a tumultuous marriage to guitar god Eddie Van Halen, were just the beginning. But the hot in Cleveland star seems to have finally made peace with her troubled past, and has admitted to learning to heal and love herself after some tough years, no longer relying on food and alcohol as crutches. "Our bodies do not define who we are as human beings," she once shared in a since-deleted Instagram post. "A number on the scale does not define how much love your heart can hold." Valerie Bertinelli was born into sorrow. The only girl in a house full of boys, Valerie Bertinelli was the third of Andrew and Nancy Bertinelli's 5 children. The arrival of a little girl after the birth of 2 boys should have added an extra layer of joy to an already happy occasion, but Bertinelli's birth was overshadowed by overwhelming grief and sadness. According to a 2020 People interview, Bertinelli's 17-month-old brother, Mark, died from accidentally drinking poison not long before she was born. "When I came into the world, my mom was grieving," Bertinelli said, adding that she wasn't told about Mark's death until she was a teenager. Even after the birth of 2 more children, her parents never brought it up. "The subject was too painful. My parents kept the tragedy locked inside." Bertinelli said she didn't fully grasp what her parents had suffered until she became a parent herself. By that point, however, she had already internalized their example of keeping feelings bottled up. She told People, "I felt like I had to make everyone happy. It's a big job for a little kid. Maybe too big." Bertinelli would later turn to unhealthy coping mechanisms including drugs, booze, and food. In another touching Instagram post in June 2023, the self-described perpetual people-pleaser said she's learning to feel my feelings, even though they can be scary sometimes, and I do my best to get to the other side of them. Valerie Bertinelli found child stardom overwhelming. Things began to change for Valerie Bertinelli in 1975 when she had her big break as an actor. In her role as Barbara Cooper on One Day at a Time, Bertinelli quickly became one of the most famous faces in America. Reflecting on this in a conversation with Entertainment Weekly, Bertinelli said, "I remember being 15, standing at the apartment door, and really thinking, at 15 years old, this is gonna change my life." Unfortunately, however, what Bertinelli originally viewed as a life-changing opportunity was really a double-edged sword. While the actor used her role in One Day at a Time to launch a successful career in the entertainment industry, unlike the many child stars who left Hollywood for normal jobs, she also found elements of fame overwhelming, admitting that it took a toll on her mental health. In an appearance on The Drew Barrymore Show in 2025, via Entertainment Weekly, Bertinelli revealed that she even sought therapy to help her cope. I finally went to Bonnie Franklin by the time I turned 20 and said, I'm struggling. And she could see that I was struggling, and she sent me to a psychiatrist. She sent me to a therapist, my mom TV." In that same interview, Bertinelli agreed with Ariana Grande's previous statements to The Hollywood Reporter, in which the Wicked star said that actors should receive therapy multiple times a week and a support system. Bertinelli enthused, "Ariana is absolutely spot on. Her marriage to Eddie Van Halen was a rocky one. Hearts broke around the world when guitar legend Eddie Van Halen married the seemingly innocent 20-year-old Valerie Bertinelli in 1981 after dating for less than a year. While they may have looked like the perfect pair with their matching hair, the relationship was far from a fairy tale. In her 2008 autobiography, Losing It and Gaining My Life Back 1 Pound at a Time, Bertinelli took readers down the rocky road of a rock and roll marriage filled with infidelity, disconnection, and the requisite heavy partying and drug use. She detailed how she unsuccessfully tried to balance her role as sweet Barbara Cooper with her role of hard-partying, coke-snorting rock star's wife. As she told Oprah while promoting the book, "The week off I would destroy my body trying to stay up with him. It got to a point whenever I heard the birds chirp, it was, oh God no. It took me years after stopping the cocaine before I could enjoy a sunrise and enjoy the sound of birds. Cocaine was only part of the problem. There were other issues, including infidelity, on both sides. Bertinelli said that she caught Van Halen in extramarital affairs and admits to affairs of her own with both men and women during their more than 20-year marriage. Unfortunately, neither therapy nor the birth of their son Wolfgang in 1991 could save the couple's marriage, and they separated in 2001. Valerie Bertinelli and Eddie Van Halen called it quits. After 6 years of separation, Valerie Bertinelli and Eddie Van Halen divorced in 2007. As the Food Network star told Oprah, the events of 9/11 put the wheels of their separation and subsequent divorce in motion. She recalls that while the event brought many people closer together, for her, it was a sign to pull away. She explained that it made her reevaluate her situation, saying, "I'm not going to live my life if it's that tenuous. That's not how I want to live my life anymore." Still, it took another 6 years before Bertinelli pulled the plug on the marriage for good. Rather than stay together for the kids, as many people do, she once again took the opposite stance, saying she divorced Van Halen in part because of the son they shared. "One of the many reasons that Ed and I split up is to give Wolfie a better vision of what two people who are supposedly in love treat each other like," she said. "Ed and I weren't treating each other like two people that loved each other, and that's what Wolfie was seeing." Although it had been years in the making, Bertinelli says she hit rock bottom after the divorce, turning to her vices for comfort. "Those were some of the darkest days of my life, and I was eating my way through them. I became a hermit." Eddie Van Halen's death left his ex-wife heartbroken. Following her divorce from Eddie Van Halen, Valerie Bertinelli found love again with businessman Tom Vitale and married him in 2011 after a 6-year courtship. Van Halen went on to wed actor Janie Leszewski in 2009, but he and Bertinelli were still in each other's lives as they co-parented their son Wolfgang. Over time, as wounds healed, they began to rebuild their strong bond. Even though they had both moved on with other people, they became close friends. When Van Halen was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer in 2017 and a brain tumor in 2019, Bertinelli was there for him with love and support. In her 2022 memoir, Enough Already, Learning to Love the Way I Am Today, the author worked through her grief by sharing the story of her relationship with Van Halen post-divorce. "I loved Ed more than I know how to explain," Bertinelli told People upon its release. "I loved his soul." She also recounted in her memoir that her ex-husband came to her home on Thanksgiving 2019, less than a year before he died, to talk with her privately and present her with a gift. "He wants me to know he messed up during our marriage," she wrote. "I contributed to our troubles too, and I am also sorry." Their complex love story lasted until Van Halen's last breath on October 6, 2020, with Bertinelli at his side. Valerie Bertinelli was grief-shamed for how she dealt with the death of Eddie Van Halen. After the death of her ex-husband, Eddie Van Halen, Valerie Bertinelli posted a loving, since-deleted tribute on Instagram, only to find herself on the receiving end of horrible comments. Haters suggested that Bertinelli was being insensitive to Van Halen's current wife and was using his death to bring attention to herself. She talked about the experience in an interview on Today with Hoda and Jenna in 2021, saying, "It's weird. Grief-shame is something I never thought would happen to me. I don't want to talk about it right now, but I knew the man for 40 years. I was 20 when I met him. I still loved him. We spent a lot of time together. He's the father of my son. He's the father of the greatest gift in my life." On Instagram, the talk show also posted a photo from Bertinelli's interview, and the haters came out again with horribly unkind remarks. It got so bad that her son, Wolfgang Van Halen, jumped to his mother's defense in the post's comments. "Some awfully horrible comments in here," he said, via rock celebrities. "Not a surprise, considering this is the internet, but whatever. I implore you dipsess to realize that you have no idea the relationship that my parents shared, and can't seem to comprehend the idea of two people having the capacity to love one another. Have a lovely day, a holes." Valerie Bertinelli's second divorce was messy less than 2 years after the death of the man she referred to as her soulmate. In her 2022 memoir, Valerie Bertinelli filed for divorce from her second husband, Tom Vitale, citing irreconcilable differences. However, it later came out that the couple had been apart since 2019. Some speculated that it was the actor's undying love for her ex that caused problems in her marriage, citing the obvious omission of details in her book about her life with Vitaly. Bertinelli claimed she was just trying to protect his privacy. As she explained to USA Today, "I tried to be really sensitive to Tom and Van Halen's wife until his death, Janie Lashevsky, because they're private people, and I don't want to tell their story. I was just trying to tell the story between me and Ed without being hurtful." For his part, Vitaly didn't seem to care about being hurtful as he went after his ex-wife's money, claiming that he was unable to find work after leaving his career as a financial planner to help his wife grow her own business. Even with a prenup in place, Bertinelli still ended up paying a reported settlement of over $2 million. However, according to the cookbook author, it was money well spent. She took to Instagram the day after her divorce was final, writing in a since-deleted post that she was happily divorced, and that it was finally over. Emotional eating became a coping mechanism for Valerie Bertinelli between the death of Eddie Van Halen and her subsequent divorce from Tom Vitaly. Bertinelli turned to the one thing that wouldn't let her down: food. In another appearance on Today with Hoda and Jenna, in 2022, she said that this was just her body's way of protecting itself. "I know this weight is protecting me right now, and when I get healthier internally and emotionally that weight will come off," she said. Bertinelli's struggles with her weight date back to her childhood and years in showbiz. In an excerpt from her memoir, Enough Already, Learning to Love the Way I Am Today, she wrote that she grew up equating her weight with her ability to be loved. As an adult, the former child star became a spokesperson for Jenny Craig and famously dropped 50 pounds. In 2009, she showed off her bodacious bod in a bikini on the cover of People, but later told the magazine, "I worked really, really, really hard. Physically, definitely. I wish to God I had worked just as hard on my mental shape." Bertinelli still struggles with accepting of herself, but said she was working on eating healthier, giving up alcohol, and taking care of her emotional well-being. "I have a lot of decades of thinking I have to look a certain way for people to accept me and to like me," she said. Gender female, age 65 years old, in 2025, date of birth April 23, 1960, real name Valerie Bertinelli, profession actress, nationality American, birthplace Wilmington, Delaware, United States, religion Roman Catholic, zodiac sign Taurus. Valerie Bertinelli, education. School, Granada Hills Charter High School. Valerie Bertinelli, career. Profession, actress. Known for Touched by an Angel. Net worth, $20 million approximate. Family and relatives. Father, Andy Bertinelli. Mother, Nancy Bertinelli. Brother, Mark Bertinelli, Drew Bertinelli, David Bertinelli, Patrick Bertinelli. Sister, none. Marital status, married. Married, Tom Vitaly, M. 2011, Eddie Van Halen, M. 1981-2007. Children, 1. Son, from Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. Daughter, none. Past relationships. Steven Spielberg, 1980. Scott Colomby, 1977-1978. Dirk Benedict. That's all for today's video. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you. And give lots of love to our channel.